Walt Disney lied to us. What a cunt. It's time for another Disney Deconstruct.
After 1937's cunt-laden shitfest Snow White, anti-Semite ballbag Walt Disney decided to spend the next 3 years molesting children's brain meats with shorts featuring squeaky-voiced boating enthusiast Mickey Mouse and other associated wanky characters that did nothing but dull an entire generation's collective brains. The Wank Disney Corporation returned to full-length animation in 1940 with Fantasia, which I'm pretty sure was created entirely to put me through hell for 2 hours. After apparently receiving my letters from the future, which were inscribed on his grave in a variety of bodily fluids, Walt Disney decided that an hour was not enough time to make me hate him and everything he created and stood for, and instead increased the screen time of this film to the point that I ran out of tears and began weeping stomach acid. This epic animator's wankfest begins with a shadowy orchestra descending on stage. It seems that in the 3 years since their last feature-length endeavour, the Walt Disney Company learned how to shoot live action without it looking like an armless child was behind the camera facing the wrong way. However, the editing is a different story. Not only do they fade over and over and fucking over again, but the cock-gratingly boring introduction is sliced up retardedly as if an adorable little puppy who had been brutally kicked in the face over and over was left in charge of the flatbed. This makes the first 4 minutes of talking more annoying than it would be if it had just been left uncut. Let's not even get into the talky bullshit introduction by some cunt who won't shut the hell up. Now, contrary to the impression I might have given at this point, I'm not an expert on children. However, I'm pretty confident in saying that kids do not like talking followed by shadows and classical music. The music is fine for an adult audience, don't get me wrong, but I can see how this shit would either bore or creep the fuck out of some little pants shitter. About 10 minutes in, bored as fuck, I muted the sound and put on Cream instead. Turns out the movie works just as well to Sunshine of Your Love. What we learn from this is that the soundtrack is entirely superfluous to the film, until the fucking talking starts again 15 minutes in. In the first quarter of an hour, we have 5 minutes of talking about things no paying audience cares about, followed by 10 minutes of an orchestra circle-jerking whilst animators watch and fillet one another and then more talking. Next, the conductor talks shit about Tchaikovsky. I'm not sure if he's being sarcastic because his voice is a dull monotone that makes me want to aim a throw punch his way. He's found the most boring way possible to introduce the Nutcracker Suite and is basically wiping his brown end on it. It wasn't much of a success and nobody performs it much nowadays. What? So the Nutcracker's been transposed from a story that exists and makes sense to a story about a fucking fairy floating around spraying glitter on shit. And then there are more fairies, and more, and fucking more. Why would anyone do this? Would you adapt War and Peace into a BDSM-infused docudrama set in Atlantis? Would you turn the Bible into a one-act play set in space with a cast of midgets that don't have spacesuits and so swiftly die a horrible death, then proceed to watch the bodies float around for the following 90 minutes? No, not even Lifetime or Channel 5 would churn out that turd. Minute 17 and we're up to racist mushrooms. Was this okay in 1940? Slitty-eyed mushrooms does not seem okay. And if they're not going with the style or story of the actual thing, why go all chinkadink with the fucking mushrooms? It seems a little racially insensitive to me. But then again, I just use the phrase chinkadink, so what do I know about racial sensitivity? And now we're underwater, because that's a logical progression from racism. Why are we underwater? Because we're following a fish ponce about. Oh, but it's okay, because the fish has evaporated into bubbles, so that's fine. Except one of the bubbles contains a flower. I don't think these animators have done any research in terms of where flowers grow. I mean, obviously flowers need water to survive, but they also need sunlight, and there is none of that at the bottom of the pimp-shitting sea. What is it with motherfucking fairies, ice fairies now, turning everything frosty? This is woefully scientific and accurate. As everyone knows, ice comes from space. Everyone but Disney, it seems. You know what there hasn't been enough of 30 minutes into this epic syphilitic crack horror movie? Talking. The conductor has decided to say more words to introduce the Sorcerer's Apprentice, because of course the fucking story isn't obvious enough in its own right. I understand a little, and I stress a little, introduction to the not sense-making intro to the Nutcracker shitstorm, but not a story that actually has a narrative, and that stick-waving anal vibrator decides to talk all over the opening. What a dick. If he wasn't probably dead, I'd write that fucktoy a letter with my fist. Everyone knows this bit of Spunktasia. Mickey Mouse is a mute little boy who's kept in a basement by a raging pedophile. He steals a pederast wizard hat and does some magic, but the magic goes wrong and the wizard comes to save the day and makes it all better by using yet more magic and then giving the boy a good raping to set him straight. Comedy now as 3 of the orchestra drop something. Ha ha ha! Is this meant to be funny? Is it related to the last animation or the next? No. The next one's about the dawn of fucking time. According to science, the first living organisms were single-cell beings, blue and green blobs of nothing in particular. What exactly is he saying there, that we evolved from nothing in particular? Is there actually a script to this, or is this mentalist ballbag just making shit up? Dinosaurs lived in the air and the water, as well as on land. How does something live in the air exactly? As a rule, they were vegetarian, rather amiable, and easy to get along with. This is after he called them small horrors, from the size of a chicken to 100-ton nightmares. but they're amiable horror nightmares. However, there were bullies and gangsters amongst them. Bully dinosaurs and gangsters? Al Capone's Rex, perhaps? Finally, we're back in animation land, but this is a land of lava because dinosaurs, like Bond villains, lived in volcanoes. This has now basically become Jurassic Park, but with less electric fences and annoying children that you want to throw at electric fences. All these dinosaurs are pussies. Where's King Kong to beat the shit out of them? Then finally a T-Rex shows up and does a murder. Yay, murder! Kids love murder, especially when it's dinosaur murder. I don't think Walt Disney knew the first fucking thing about what children were into. We're now into this movie, and other than the familiar face of Mickey Mouse being molested by a giant, there's been nothing child-centric about this film. And the only child-centric thing about Mickey was that he was playing a child that was being diddled. At this point in the movie, I took a bathroom break and didn't stop the DVD, so I'm not entirely sure how this section ended. I am, however, almost certain it probably jerked itself off into pointless nonsense oblivion. I returned to see the conductor announce, "We'll be taking a 15-minute intermission," and the orchestra walking away, leaving an empty stage. Somebody should probably explain to them that this is a movie, and so an intermission is entirely unnecessary. If I wanted a fucking intermission, I'd put the disc on pause. I need to see a fucking Fantasia logo for 15 minutes while I wait for you to pretend to have a ball-slapping intermission. Then the orchestra comes back, and it's not been 15 minutes. That man is not only the worst cum-gargling announcer in the fucking world, but he's also a nice spunking liar, and nobody likes spunk in their eyes. Next, the twat-punching labia piercer introduces the soundtrack as a character. At least the other sections at least attempted to sell us some kind of story. This is just a line that shakes about like an epileptic in a rave. Now the conductor is telling us the entire storyline of the impending Greek god-based section. Storyline which seems to be fucking obvious, apart from the centaur girlfriends being called centaurettes and Zeus playing darts. Except the animation that follows is nothing like that one he's described because it features My Little Fucking Ponies. I'm pretty sure they weren't part of Greek mythology. As this section goes on, it seems some things are looking up. Not because there's a plot or anything, but because there are topless ladies washing themselves in a stream. But they're not ladies, they're centaurettes with great tits. On one hand, boobies. On the other hand, horse bodies. This is not dissimilar from the mermaid dilemma, except that a horse at least has a vagina. To fuck a mermaid, you have to find out where she's left her eggs and then fertilize them. That's a summer that still haunts me, although I did learn I'm not a strong swimmer and thusly discovered a few things about water-based erotic asphyxiation, so it wasn't entirely wasted. Then they give up drawing My Little Ponies and they've turned into donkeys from Pinocchio with unicorn horns. Dear cock-punching Christ. Dancing fucking ostriches. And now hippos. Hippos are worse than ostriches, and I'm pretty sure they're responsible for more deaths than the Nazis. Interesting fact I just made up, all the ostriches and hippos in this movie are male, and also all ostriches and hippos in the real world are male. It's like Jurassic Park, but genderly backwards. I look away for a minute, and now it seems that the main hippo has passed out and the 12 elephants are creeping up behind him to indulge in either bukkake or a gangbang. Maybe a bit of both, you know what elephants are like. You don't? Well, you don't want to go to India or Africa, unless you like elephant rape, in which case you should definitely go to India or Africa. Next. Alligators in capes! They must be superheroes, or Draculas. I'm not sure if the alligators are trying to eat the elephants and hippos or if they're flirting with them. You don't want to flirt with an elephant. The second those bastards sense sexual interest, they pounce, and they're fucking massive. You don't want to be under an elephant when it pounces, and you definitely don't want an elephant inside you. I was so caught up in reliving my elephant rape horror that I missed the talking from what might be the final section, which is probably for the best, so I imagine it will only make me angrier. Okay, so we've got a gargoyle and lots of skeletons. Disney apparently trying to make this child-based audience shit themselves with terror. Now the gargoyle seems to be a big devil, and he's got lots of demons at his command. What the fuck is going on here? And then dancing fire ladies who turn into dancing animals. Is this Uncle Walt declaring his bestiality fantasies to the world, saying, "Come on kids, animal and women can both be sexy, so fuck away!" A bell tolls and the demons and ghosts run away. What we learn from this is the Hellborn, much like Spider-Man's enemy Venom, hate bells. Let's all make a note of that for when the rapture comes. Big Ben is the safest place to be. And now darkness, and then light. And now it's all over. So, to conclude, what the fuck? That was a 120-minute-long movie that was entirely pointless and had absolutely no artistic merit whatsoever, let alone entertainment value. Interesting fact to finish on, the kitty-fiddling wizard was modelled on Walt Disney himself. So there you go, even the Disney animators believe that Walt Disney was a child-molesting giant who kept preteen children in his Rapatorian basement. Fact.
Uncle Walt lied to us. What a fucking cunt. As proven by this Disney Deconstruct. He raped our minds and our childhoods. We've exposed his lies for the better good. That racist, rapist, kitty-fiddling cocko may be dead, but that don't mean we can slap him upside the